The iron gate feels colder than it should on Christmas Eve, biting into my skin like a betrayal frozen in metal. I stand there in the relentless freezing rain, my fingers clenched around the bars as if they were the last lifeline to a world that had just slammed shut on me. It's like a child pressing her face against a candy store window, yearning for something sweet and unattainable. But what I'm staring at isn't candy, it's the Greenwich estate. The place that was supposed to be my home, now glowing with warm golden light spilling from every window, mocking my breath fogging up in the bitter December air. My hand trembles as I reach for the door handle of my Subaru. A 10-year-old warrior dented on the passenger side from that ill-fated snowstorm where I clipped a mailbox. But damn it, I paid for it. Every grueling payment over 5 years, scraped together from my own sweat and determination. Or so I thought. Preston's hand shoots through the bars like a viper, snatching the keys before my fingers can close around them. His voice is flat, emotionless, the same corporate monotone he uses when firing employees over conference calls. Technically, you signed over the title to the holding company 3 years ago for tax efficiency. Remember, you no longer work for us. You don't get the perks. He turns his back without a flicker of remorse, my keys jingling in his palm like worthless loose change as he climbs the front steps and vanishes into the house. Not even a backward glance to acknowledge the daughter he's discarding. I'm left gripping my small suitcase, the rain pounding down like accusations, soaking through my wool coat and chilling me to the core. I should move, I know I should, but some foolish, ingrained part of me is still waiting for him to come back, for the door to swing open and pull me into the warmth. Just 1 hour ago, I had walked through those very gates, naive enough to think I'd sleep in my old room tonight. That Christmas morning might feel normal, or at least familiar. I'd lost my PR job 3 days before the holiday, when the company merged and my entire department was axed like excess fat trimmed from a holiday roast. The severance was meager, enough for 2 months' rent if I stretched it, maybe 3 if I skipped meals and lived like a ghost. I needed time to figure out my next move, a safe harbor to regroup. Instead, I stumbled into Kinsley's engagement party, a glittering spectacle under crystal chandeliers, with a string quartet serenading 200 guests in cocktail attire. There was my baby sister, flaunting her massive diamond ring under soft, romantic lighting, while I stood frozen in my damp work clothes from the subway ride, feeling like an intruder in my own life. Preston tapped his champagne glass for silence right there in the grand foyer, the sound echoing off marble floors like a judge's gavel. He announced that the family trust, all $55 million of it, had been transferred entirely to Kinsley. Not split, not held in reserve, but fully transferred. Final. Miranda has demonstrated a consistent pattern of professional failure, he declared, his voice carrying with the weight of a boardroom verdict. This family rewards success, not mediocrity. The words sliced through me, sharper than the winter wind outside. I begged, God, how I hate reliving that humiliation, but I begged. I asked if I could just stay for a few weeks through the holidays, until I found a new position. I'd be quiet, stay out of the way, help with anything they needed. Genevieve set down her wineglass with a sharp click that reverberated in the sudden silence. You're a burden, Miranda. We're not running a charity for failed adults. You need to leave tonight. The party fell deathly quiet. 200 pairs of eyes watching me stand there with my purse still slung over my shoulder, my face burning with shame. I slunk out through the side door, grabbed the suitcase I'd packed that morning, the one I thought I'd unpack into my childhood dresser, and walked to the front gate like an obedient daughter. Because old habits die hard, even when they're killing you. That's where I am now, shivering violently as the wool coat soaks through at the shoulders, the rain exploiting every weak seam. The cold creeps down my spine in slow, insidious rivulets, numbing my resolve. Standing at this gate in the pitch-black night, I realize this is my fatal flaw, this pathetic waiting for them to turn back, to show a shred of humanity. 5 minutes pass, then 10. I lose track as my phone battery dies in my pocket, succumbing to the frigid air. The house lights extinguish one by one, first the ballroom, then the dining room, then the upstairs bedrooms, winking out like dying stars at dawn. My mother's room goes dark last. I imagine her pulling the heavy curtains closed, smoothing the duvet with manicured hands, settling into bed without a single thought for her daughter standing outside in sub-freezing rain. Exposed and abandoned. My finger hovers over the intercom button. Temptation whispering that I could buzz. Could plead for just a blanket. A taxi fare. Something. Anything. But the thought of hearing Preston's voice crackle through the speaker. The smug satisfaction in his tone when he denies me. Twists my stomach into knots. Instead, I grip the suitcase handle tighter. The metal burns with cold through my gloves, searing my skin straight to the bone. But I hold on. I turn away from the gate. Away from the house. Away from every fabricated memory of Christmas mornings, summer barbecues, and staged graduation photos that unfolded behind those walls. Port Chester is 3 miles east. I know because I used to drive past it on my way to the train station. Back when I had a car, a job, a family. I start walking into the enveloping dark. The freezing rain transforming the road into a slick black mirror that reflects nothing but my own despair. My suitcase wheels snag on every crack in the pavement, protesting with each jolt. Behind me, the estate vanishes around a bend in the road. And for the first time, I don't look back, not once. Because if I do, I might stand at that gate forever, waiting for ghosts who will never materialize. Port Chester sits just 3 miles from Greenwich. But crossing into it feels like entering a foreign land. A gritty suburb where the opulence fades into strip malls and neon signs. My feet go numb around mile 2. The freezing rain needling my face like tiny daggers. Each step sending jolts of pain through my ankles where my flats have rubbed the skin raw. The suitcase wheels keep jamming on chunks of ice, forcing me to drag it like a burdensome corpse through the slush. I pass a Motel 6 just after midnight. Its neon sign flickering red and white like a false promise of salvation. Proclaiming vacancy. Maybe this is where my luck turns. I think desperately. I still have the emergency credit card tucked in my wallet. The one Preston gave me years ago for true emergencies only. Being locked out of your family home on Christmas Eve in sub-freezing temperatures, with no shelter in sight, seems to qualify as the epitome of desperation. The night clerk, half asleep behind bulletproof glass, slides the card reader through the slot without eye contact. I watch the machine process for an eternity, my heart pounding. Then it beeps. Declined. Try again. My voice cracks, raw with exhaustion. He swipes twice more, same result. Says here the card was reported stolen. He mutters, peering at his screen then at me. Suspicion etching his features. About 20 minutes ago. 20 minutes. That would have been right after Preston took my car keys. Right after he strode back into the house and sealed the door. While I trudged through the rain, my father had called in a fraud report, cutting off my last lifeline with surgical precision. I leave without a word. What could I say? The clerk is already reaching for his phone, probably debating whether to call the police about the drenched woman attempting to use a stolen card on Christmas Eve. The bus stop on the edge of town offers the only semblance of shelter. 3 walls of scratched plexiglass and a metal bench that radiates cold. I collapse onto it, the chill seeping through my wet coat into my bones. My teeth chattering so violently I taste blood from biting my cheek. That's when I hear the whimpering, a dog. About 40 pounds, tied to the post with a frayed rope. Its fur matted and soaked. Shaking worse than I am. Someone had abandoned it here. Just tied it up and left. Mirroring the way my family had discarded me at the gate. I dig through my purse and find half a stale sandwich from 2 days ago, turkey and Swiss on wheat. Wrapped in wax paper. Crouching down, I break off pieces and hold them out. The dog takes them gently, its tail thumping once against the concrete in grateful acknowledgement. We match. I whisper, my voice hoarse. Both thrown away on Christmas Eve. I share the entire sandwich, bite for bite, and the dog presses against my leg when we finish. I wrap my arm around it, stealing what little warmth we can exchange in this forsaken spot. That's when I notice the woman at the far end of the bench. Tucked into the shadows. I hadn't seen her before, but now her shape emerges, elderly, perhaps 70, in a thin house dress and wet bedroom slippers utterly unsuited for the outdoors. Her gray hair hangs in strings around her face. Cold night, she rasps, her voice rattling like loose change in a tin can. The worst, I reply, pulling my coat tighter. Though it's futile, the wool is saturated. Nice coat, she observes, shivering violently. Warm. It was warm 3 hours ago. I mutter, eyeing her slippers, the house dress clinging to her frail frame. Her lips tinged blue at the edges. Without thinking, I stand and shrug off the coat, my only barrier against hypothermia, and drape it over her shoulders. She stares at me like I've bestowed a fortune. You'll freeze faster, I counter, sitting back down in just my blouse and slacks. The cold hits like a hammer blow, the wind slicing through the wet fabric, my vision blurring from the shakes. But seeing color return to her face makes the agony feel a fraction less lethal. 10 minutes pass, maybe 15. I'm drifting into that dangerous, hypnotic sleepiness when headlights pierce the rain. 3 black SUVs pulling up in formation like a covert operation. A man in a dark suit emerges, umbrella in hand. Miss Morris. His Irish accent clips sharply. I'm Declan O'Connor. Miss Vance would like a word. The elderly woman stands, no longer shaking. She removes my coat, revealing a perfectly dry cashmere sweater beneath. Her wet slippers replaced by leather boots that materialize as if by magic. Adelaide Vance, she introduces, extending her hand like we're at a gala, not a desolate bus stop. You passed. My brain reels, struggling to process. Past what? The test, she explains, gesturing to Declan, who escorts me toward the middle SUV. I have a talent for finding people who choose freezing over watching someone else suffer. She pauses at the door, glancing toward the road back to Greenwich. My security team has been tracking your father's movements all night. We knew he'd kicked you out. I wanted to see if you'd break or survive. Sitting on that bench was uncomfortable, but necessary to observe your true character up close. The SUV's heated interior envelops me like paradise. Someone wraps a blanket around my shoulders. And Adelaide settles across from me. Every inch the billionaire she is. Declan hands me a folder. Your credit report, Miss Morris. With shaking hands, I open it to find my signature on a loan guarantee for $500 to Morris Holdings LLC. Dated 3 days ago. I never signed this. No. Adelaide confirms. Your father forged it. He needed a personal guarantor for a commercial loan already underwater. He used you as the fall guy before kicking you out. The revelation hits like successive punches, not just disinherited, but criminally liable. My father hadn't merely abandoned me, he'd weaponized my existence against me. Something shifts in my chest, not sadness, but clarity, cold and sharp as the December wind. You're not just homeless, Adelaide continues. You're facing $500 in fraudulent debt that could haunt you for decades. Preston Morris isn't mean, dear. He's a criminal who monetized his daughter. She leans forward. I'm offering you $215 a year to train under me. 9 months of hell, but at the end, you'll have the skills and resources to survive what he did to you. I should feel desperate, grateful, overwhelmed. Instead, I feel strategic, a fire igniting within. I need power. I need money, not to escape Preston's betrayal, but to turn it back on him like a sharpened blade. When do I start? Adelaide smiles, a glint in her eye. Right now. The first boardroom humiliation happens in February. I'm standing at the head of a marble conference table in downtown Manhattan, presenting Adelaide's proposal for mixed-income housing in the South Bronx, when a developer in a gray suit interrupts mid-sentence. Who did you say you were again? My throat constricts. 6 months ago. I could command a room with ease. Now, my hands shake as I grip the presentation remote. Miranda Morris, Executive Director of, Right, the trust fund kid. He leans back, arms crossed, disdain dripping. Adelaide, with all due respect, this is a waste of our time. Send someone who actually knows construction. Adelaide doesn't defend me. She simply nods toward the door. I gather my materials with burning cheeks. 12 people watching me exit like a dismissed child. In the elevator, she speaks. How did that feel? Humiliating. Good. Now you know what's at stake when you walk into the next one unprepared. The next morning, she hands me a towering stack of textbooks on forensic accounting and construction management. The pile reaching my chin. You have 3 months to master the basics, she commands. After that, you'll shadow Declan on site inspections. I spend March through May immersed in load-bearing calculations and zoning ordinances. My apartment a cave of highlighted pages and endless cold coffee. I learn to decipher blueprints in the pre-dawn glow of 4 a.m. The only quiet hour before Adelaide's car arrives at 6. The site inspections are brutal. Declan hands me a hard hat and steel-toed boots on my first day at the Port Chester site, the same town where Adelaide found me 9 months ago. Keep up, he barks, striding into the mud without a glance back. I discover construction sites reek of diesel and wet concrete. That contractors don't mince words for women in pencil skirts. That my Yale degree is worthless when I can't distinguish rebar from conduit. By June, my hands bear calluses from rain-soaked clipboards and scaffold climbs. Far from the manicured nails of my past life. Adelaide assigns me Project Beacon in July, an affordable housing initiative for 20 single mothers transitioning from shelters. The budget is razor thin. The timeline impossible. The lot in Port Chester prone to flooding. Fix it, she says, leaving me ankle-deep in water with drainage woes and unresponsive contractors. I fix it, not through innate talent, but because failure would validate Preston's judgment. August brings lessons in pump systems and French drains. I haggle with suppliers who underestimate me until I prove my research. I earn my crew's respect by arriving first and leaving last. My rubber boots caked in the same mud as their work clothes. By September, we're ahead of schedule on Project Beacon, the foundation poured solid. The framing rising like a promise against the skyline. I stand in what will become someone's kitchen, inhaling the scent of fresh lumber and possibility, feeling something unfamiliar stir within. Pride. Raw and earned, or perhaps just the relief of not failing yet. That's when Kinsley materializes, her heels clicking on the plywood like warning shots. She navigates the construction site like it's a minefield of dirt and debris. Her phone already out and recording, capturing every unflattering angle. Miranda, she coos, her voice laced with that artificial sweetness that always precedes a stab. Oh my God, is that really you? I'm in muddy jeans and a flannel shirt. My ponytail unkempt after 9 months without salon visits. My boots encrusted with clay that no scrubbing can remove. She circles me like a predator, zooming in on my boots with her camera. This is so sad. My sister used to work in PR. And now she's literally digging ditches. The Morris legacy. Everyone. How embarrassing. I should fire back something cutting. Defend my transformation. But the old reflex kicks in, the one that silenced me through years of her subtle cruelties, and I stand mute as she captures her footage. She posts it before even leaving the site. And by the time I'm back in my truck, notifications explode like fireworks. The video's shared 200 times in Greenwich's elite circles. Comments piling on like body blows. She really fell from grace. Imagine losing everything and ending up here. This is what happens when you disappoint your family. Sitting in the truck, mud tracked across the floor mats. Shame creeps up my neck like a fever. This is Preston's prophecy fulfilled, that I'd fail spectacularly. Embarrass the name. Prove I was always discardable. My phone rings. Adelaide. I saw the post. She says, I'm sorry. I'll figure out how to. Come to my office now. I drive to Manhattan braced for termination. But Adelaide sits with Declan, both scrutinizing Kinsley's Instagram on a laptop. This is actually perfect, Adelaide declares. Confusion must show on my face because Declan smirks. You're a PR executive. Miranda, so do PR. They're right. I spent 5 years spinning narratives for corporations, crafting stories that turned scandals into triumphs. More crucially, I know how to flip the script, making Kinsley the villain she truly is. That evening, I film a response, not in soft apartment lighting, but back at the site, standing in the same mud where she ambushed me. My boots still filthy, flannel wrinkled, but my voice steady as steel. My sister is right. I'm not in PR anymore. I'm building affordable housing for single mothers, 20 families who need safe homes to raise their kids. First pan the camera to the framed structure behind me. This is Project Beacon. If you think helping people is embarrassing, then yes, I'm deeply embarrassed. But if you believe building something meaningful is worth your time, we're accepting donations. Posted at 11 p.m. By morning the tide reverses like a tidal wave. Comments flood in, but transformed. Kinsley branded elitist. Shallow. Out of touch. A viral side-by-side emerges. Her designer handbags versus my mud-caked boots. Captioned, guess which Morris sister is actually working. Project Beacon's donation page crashes from traffic. We raise $40 in 3 days. Enough to add playground equipment and job training programs. Drawing from real-world initiatives like Habitat for Humanity's success stories that I've researched late into nights. Adelaide finds me on site Monday. You see it now, don't you? See what? That her opinion has no power unless you grant it. She's right, for the first time since that fateful Christmas Eve. I'm not craving family approval. I have Adelaide's mentorship, Declan's quiet support, a crew respecting me for earned grit. Not lineage, 20 future tenants whose kids will thrive in homes I built. Kinsley's attack meant to shatter me instead crystallizes my progress, turning public scorn into a fundraising boon that echoes viral campaigns like those for community housing in cities like New York. I'm wrapping a site inspection that afternoon when Declan pulls me aside by the trailer. His face shadowed. We need to talk about your father. He hands me his tablet, a grainy security photo from a Manhattan restaurant. Preston across from Julian Thorne, the hedge fund mogul whose quantum energy tech, rebranded from dubious predecessors, faces federal probes. As per recent SEC filings have skimmed online, Thorne's under investigation for fraud. Declan whispers, your father's trying to erase debts with a miracle investment. Preston leans forward in the photo. Eager, desperate, the same entitlement he wore snatching my keys. I return the tablet. A cold resolve settling. How long until it collapses? 6 months. Maybe less. I nod, watching the crew pack tools as sunset gilds the buildings. Then we prepare. Declan eyes me. You're not warning him. Not a question. No. I reply. I'm going to watch. That day in Adelaide's office. Declan slides a manila folder across the mahogany desk with deliberate fury. Quantum energy tech, he states. Your father's meeting Thorne twice weekly. Inside, glossy prospectus with solar panels that scream stock photos. Returns rivaling infamous schemes like Madoff's. It's a Ponzi, Adelaide affirms. FB's building a case, 8 months in. Waiting for more deposits. The minimum, $500. The exact forged loan amount plus interest. Too precise for chance. He's desperate. I close the folder, gazing at Project Beacon's framing through the window. Real aid. Not illusory profits. We could warn him. Adelaide offers flatly. If we do, he'll scramble. Maybe drag me deeper. I face them. We need him to commit fully. So we do nothing. Declan hesitates. We create conditions for self-destruction. I add. He needs a push. The lawsuit arrives 3 days later, a process server catching me post-site. Papers thrust with a shrug. Morris Holdings LLC versus Miranda Morris. NDA violation. $100 damages. From 6 years ago. A boilerplate I signed as junior analyst. Brewing coffee before Preston deemed me unfit. Harassment. Spite, but timed perfectly. Preston needs cash for Thorne, mansion leveraged. Banks wary post-forgery scandal. This isn't justice, it's extraction from my new salary. I race to Adelaide's estate. Extortion. She seethes. Desperation masked as power. My hands steady. He needs $100 for Thorne's buy-in. Mansion equity gets $400. This bridges the gap. You want to settle? No surprise in her tone. Immediately. Full amount. Declan frowns. Looks weak. He'll think he can bleed you anytime. Good. Let him. Adelaide smiles like a chess grandmaster spotting checkmate. You're handing him rope. Exactly enough rope. The settlement conference reeks of stale carpet in a drab office. Preston arrives with Genevieve and a weary lawyer. Suited for war, him in power attire. Her in pricey pearls. I wear mud-stained work pants and a Project Beacon polo. Fresh from sight. Contrast intentional. Their lawyer postures. Trust violation. Reputation damage. I interrupt after 4 minutes. We'll pay full today. Silence descends. No negotiation? Preston sounds deflated. Robbed of his tirade. I sign without reading. My briefed lawyer shifts but complies. Transfer this afternoon. Standing to leave. Genevieve stares confounded. Smart choice. Miranda. Preston calls. Learning how the world works. I pause. Meeting his eyes calmly. Practiced neutrality. Sometimes the best move is no move. He furrows. Uncomprehending. Fine, he will soon. In the parking garage. I sit a minute. Steady. 10 months ago. I'd weep from their contempt. Now, cold clarity reigns. I text Declan. Done. Transfers in 3 hours. Response. Thorns confirmed Preston's appointment tomorrow. Wire afternoon. A small smile escapes. Pieces align. Preston gets settlement by dinner. Combines with high-interest mansion loan, 18%. Immediate foreclosure clause Declan unearthed. By night, he'll pour all into Thorn. In 8 weeks, FBI freezes assets. Pulling into traffic. Kinsley's Instagram buzzes. Sister paid up without fight. Guess she knows her place. Born leaders versus followers. Hashtag family hierarchy. Hashtag know your worth. 3.000 likes. Greenwich chatter. They see humiliation. I see them grasping my handed shovel. Digging obliviously. The call hits Tuesday morning. Late November, a month post-settlement. Reviewing Beacon Phase 2 plans. My assistant knocks. Your family in lobby. No appointment. Declan at doorframe. Eyebrow arched. FBI raided Quantum this morning. Confirmed Ponzi. Assets frozen. Trap sprung. Send them up. I don't rise as they enter. Preston registers shock at my composure. They look ravaged. His shirt wrinkled. Button missing. Genevieve's makeup smeared. Kinsley's hair limp. Miranda. Preston cracks. Talk. Family business. I gesture chairs. They sit. I wait. Misunderstanding with investment. He stammers. Hands trembling. Temporary liquidity. Hard loan on house accelerated. Need $3.500.000 bridge. 30 days. Silence stretches. We're family. Genevieve pleads thinly. You have resources. Adelaide's foundation can. Vance Foundation's fiduciary duty serves its mission. I cut. No personal loans with donor funds. Don't double talk. Preston snaps. Old edge surfacing. Incoming CEO. You have discretion. Could I? I lean back. Walk the math. Dad. $100 settlement to Thorn. Hard loan at 18%. Foreclosure on default. Everything into Quantum. Now FBI frozen. Missed house payment? We can fix. Genevieve whispers. You thought I settled from weakness. I say gently. Terrified. Knowing my place. Kinsley's head snaps. You did. I gave you rope to hang yourselves. Knew you needed cash for Thorn's scam. Didn't push. Just stepped aside. Preston surges. You set us up. Knew it was scam. Suspected. You skipped diligence. Signed predatory terms. Your choices. Extortion, he shouts. Manipulated into bad investment. Risky loan. I didn't forge signatures. I counter. Wait on. Forge. Gave money. Watched self-destruction. Genevieve sobs. Mascara streaming. We'll lose everything. House all we have. You have each other. I echo their past words. Family helps family. Kinsley. Manic. Pulls phone. Going live. Tell everyone you're letting us go homeless. Go ahead. She props it. Red light on. Hey guys. In sister's office. She's CEO with millions. Refusing help as we lose house. Declan places folder. Screenshots of Kinsley's mocks. Construction post. DMs gloating over bleeding me dry. Followers might want context, mocking me. Celebrating settlement funding Ponzi. Kinsley pales. Grabs phone. But comments rage. Preston pleads small. You're my daughter. Was. Christmas Eve at gate. Stopped then. Mistakes. Genevieve whispers. Parents make mistakes. Choices. Chose Kinsley. Money. Locked me in rain after forgery. Decisions. Silence heavy. Preston sags. Arrogance crumbled. Foreclosure in 72 hours. Declan notes. Bankruptcy attorney advised. They leave wordless. Preston averting eyes. Genevieve stumbling. Kinsley steadying. Through window. I watch them to a dented sedan. Hours later. Kinsley's Instagram erupts. Not sympathy. Fury. Dug up cruelties. Hashtags hashtag karma hashtag schadenfreude. Morris family broke. Pariahs. House forecloses in week. Declan sends photo. Estate dark. Seizure notice. They scatter. Cheap apartments. Kinsley couch surfing. Parents in Stamford 1 bedroom on pullout. I feel void. No satisfaction. Guilt. Just emptiness where family once resided. Ballroom doors whisper open at Vance headquarters. Project Beacon's grand opening. Christmas Eve, 1 year since Gates. I smooth charcoal silk dress. Adelaide's emerald pendant heavy at throat, her mother's. Clasped wordlessly earlier. Remarkable, she says beside me. Surveying 200 in evening wear. 40 families housed. Programs running. Under budget. Through windows. Complex glows. Families unpacking. Kids racing. Mothers of labored with teaching dignities built hands-on. Declan at elbow. Situation at entrance. I know. Morris family. No invites. Claiming networking. Informed exclusion list. Offered soup kitchen vouchers. 3 blocks south. Open till 10. Only help you're offering. I take vouchers. Needing one last look. From mezzanine glass. They appear small below. Preston hunched. Genevieve clutching purse. Kinsley filming. Ordinary people reaping bad choices. Preston spots me. Pushes. Declan blocks. Mouth moves. Gestures. Points. Crumbles. Desperation or rage. Lips form. Your mother would want. I step back. Curtains obscuring. Turn to warmth. 200 believers in our build. Last glimpse. Declan hands vouchers. Preston crumples them as rain falls. Same December storm. They vanish into cold, dark. Fate for those treating children as ATMs. No anger. Satisfaction. Just necklaces weight. Room's warmth. A Beacon mother approaches with gap-toothed daughter in velvet. Thank you. May starts school January. I kneel. You'll do amazing. Later. Balcony alone. Glass in hand. Complex golden against dark. Snapshots. Woman cooking. Man lifting toddler. Teens on couch. They took keys. I built empire. Wanted me frozen. I generated warmth. Raise glass to complex. Adelaide inside expanding. Attendees. Myself. Solid ground from bleeding hands.